Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It is Monday evening, and this evening we are talking no changes. The reports for the UK's financial outlook, shall we say, is that interest rates will go back up very slightly, but they'll go back up this time. That wages are not going to go up as much this year as they did last year. And basically, what it means for us normal people, as little minions, is that this cost of living crisis is going to keep going, because if our wages aren't going to go up that much, unless of course you're on minimum wage and then you get a whole pound an hour wage rise, but for anyone else the wage rises are not going to be very big. Interest rates are probably going to go back up, and it's amazing how conflicting the reports can be, because you've got one building society or bank that's seemingly raising the interest rates on its mortgages, and you've got one that's bringing them down. And you're like, well, okay, so nobody actually knows what's happening. And all these people are looking at all these numbers and they're like, well, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. Do you know something? Whatever happens, I am more than 90% certain that the costs incurred by us in our day-to-day living are not going to go down significantly enough to make a huge difference to us, to make any sort of difference to us. So therefore, we're still going to be in this cost of living crisis, which doesn't seem to be making the headlines anytime soon. Do you know, it seems to be like this is how we're living now. Nobody's mentioning that this is a cost of living crisis, that people are really still struggling. Here in Scotland, the rent thing that they had for COVID and that, where landlords weren't allowed to put up the rent, they weren't allowed to evict as easily as they did. I think the maximum they could put up the rent was 3%. That finishes in April this year, and seemingly there's a lot of people already had notice from the landlords that rents are going to go up by a considerable amount. So that's also going to be problematic. You know, there's a lot of stuff still going on that is going to make life difficult for us. I mean, life's difficult enough as it is, don't get me wrong, but it's going to make life more difficult for us. So we need to, you know, just make sure we're all right. If we've managed to save money, then let's keep it that way. If you've managed to cut your costs, you're probably going to have to keep it that way as well. But certainly anything that I'm seeing or hearing, there's nothing saying it's going to get any easier anytime soon. So, what do we do with that? We keep on keeping on. There really isn't much that we can do, because unless you suddenly get a huge pay rise, or your rent doesn't increase, or it goes down, or your mortgage interest rate goes down, unless something like that happens, the majority of us are still going to be on roughly the same playing field that we're on just now. So yeah, keep on keeping on. Goodness, seems like we've been doing this for ages, doesn't it? But the thing is, yes, we've been doing this for ages, but how much have we learnt since we started? Because I have learnt loads, and I have saved us so much money, and I have helped us for when we're ill or when we're struggling money-wise, etc., etc. So, yeah, although it's quite monotonous, we've done no bad. So, yeah, we can do this. We can keep on keeping on. And hopefully, things will change for the better. Wouldn't like to bet on it, but, you know, fingers crossed. Catch you later.